Good morning and welcome to the Knowing Show. I am your host, Christene Marie. We are talking tonight or this morning about a topic that has so much to do with the way that we show up in our lives. And this conversation this morning really has so much to do with like the corners and areas and pockets of our lives in terms of the decisions we make, in terms of the value that we place on people, the honestly the work that we do. It touches every part of us. And so, this question, do you value what is yours, is so important because so often, I don't know about you guys, but I end up taking for granted that which is mine. And so often living by comparison, or so often live by judging my life by someone else's standards. For so many years, I lived where my standards were actually a reflection of what everyone else thought around me. I was looking to the right and to the left for their definitions over whether I'm being successful, whether I'm worthy, whether I'm lovable, even. And so, because I was so fixated outward, I actually completely forgot that which was my own, my identity, who ultimately the creator of the universe said that I was. It was a complete waste of my own resources and my own inner life because I was so fixated on the external, and I had effectively outsourced my worth to those around me. So, this question this morning, do you value what is yours? We first must ask the question, do you even remember what is yours? So, with that, we've started doing a lesson in A Course of Miracles every single morning since the beginning of January 1st. And so, there's a daily lesson, and we're going to go ahead and read that lesson. And this discussion is predicated on that. Lesson 184. The name of God is my inheritance. You live by symbols. You have made up names for everything you see. Each one becomes a separate entity, identified by its name. By this, you carve it out of unity. By this, you designate its special attributes and set it off from other things by emphasizing space around it. The space you lay between all things to which you give a name, all happenings in terms of place and time, all bodies which are greeted by a name. This space you see as setting off all things from one another is the means by which the world's perception is achieved. You see something where nothing is, and see as well nothing where there is unity, a space between all things and you. Thus do you think that you have given life in separation. By this split, you think you are established as a unity which functions with an independent will. What are these names by which the world keeps a series of discrete events, of things ununified, of bodies kept apart and holding bits of mind as separate awareness? You gave these names to them, establishing perception as you wished to have perception be. The nameless things were given names, and thus reality was given them as well. For what is named is given meaning and then will be seen as meaningful. A cause of true effect, with consequence inherent in and of itself. This is the way reality is made by partial vision, purposefully set aside the given truth. Its enemy is wholeness. It conceives of little things and looks upon them. And a lack of space, a sense of unity or vision that sees differently, becomes the threats which it must overcome, conflict with, and deny. Yet does this other vision still remain a natural direction for the mind to channel its perception? It is hard to teach the mind 1,000 alien names and 1,000 more, yet you believe this is what learning means. It's one essential goal by which communication is achieved and concepts can be meaningfully shared. This is the sum of the inheritance the world bestows. And everyone who learns to think that it is so accepts in signs and symbols that asserts the world is real. It is for this they stand. They leave no doubt that what is named is there. It can be seen as is anticipated. What denies that it is true but illusion? For it is the ultimate reality. To question it is madness. To accept its presence is proof of insanity. Such is the teaching of the world. It is a phase of learning everyone whom comes must go through, but the sooner he perceives on what it rests, how questionable are its premises, and how doubtful its results, the sooner does he question its effects. Learning that stops with what the world would teach stops short of meaning. In its proper place, it serves now as a starting point from which another kind of learning can be, a new perception can be gained, and all arbitrary names the world bestows can be withdrawn as they are raised to doubt. Think not you made this world. Illusions? Yes. But what is true is heaven and earth is beyond your making. When you call upon a brother, it is to his body that you make appeal. His true identity is hidden from you by what you believe he really is. His body makes response to what you call him, for his mind consents to take the name you give him as his own. And thus his unity is twice denied. For you perceive him separate from you, and he accepts this separate name as his. It would indeed be strange if you were asked to go beyond all symbols of the world, forgetting them forever, yet were asked to take a teaching function. You have need to use the symbols of the world a while, but be not deceived by them as well, or be not deceived by them as well. They do not stand for anything at all. And in your practicing, it is this thought that will release you from them. They become but means by which you can communicate in ways the world can understand, but which you recognize is not the unity where true communication can be found. Thus, what you need are intervals each day in which the learning of the world becomes a transitory phase, a prison house from which you go into the sunlight and forget the darkness. Here you understand the word, the name which God has given you, the one identity which all things share, the one acknowledgement of what is true, and then step back to darkness, not because you think it real, but only to proclaim its unreality in terms which still have meaning in the world that darkness rules. Use all the little names and symbols which delineate the world of darkness, yet accept them not as your reality. The Holy Spirit uses all of them, but he does not forget creation has one name, one meaning, and one single source which unifies all of them within itself. Use all the names the world bestows on them but for convenience. Yet do not forget they share the name of God along with you. God has no name. And yet his name becomes the final lesson that all things are one. And at this lesson does all learning end. All names are unified. All space is filled with truth's reflection. Every gap is closed and separation healed. The name of God is the inheritance he gave to those who close the teaching of the world to take the place in heaven. In our practicing, our purpose is to let our minds accept what God has given as the answers to the pitiful inheritance you made as fitting tribute to the Son he loves. No one can fail who seeks the meaning of the name of God. Experience must come to supplement the word. But first, you must accept the name for all reality and realize that many names you gave its aspects have distorted what you see, but have not interfered with the truth at all. One name we bring into practicing, one name we use to unify our sight. And though we use a different name for each awareness of an aspect of God's Son, we understand that they have but one name, which he has given them. It is this name we use in practicing. And through its use, all foolish separations disappear, which kept us blind. And we are given strength to see beyond them. Now our sight is blessed with blessings we can give as we receive. Father, our name is yours. In it we are unified with all living things, and you who are their creator. What we made and cast by many different names is but a shadow we have tried to cast across your own reality. And we are glad and thankful we were wrong. All our mistakes we give to you, that we may be absolved from all effects our errors seem to have. and we accept the truth you give. In place of every one of them, your name is our salvation and escape from what we made. Your name unites us in the oneness which is our inheritance and our peace. Y'all, this question, do you value what is yours? I wanted to go in this direction because just because we forget our own value, whether it's forgetting ourselves in terms of what we value, whether it's forgetting the reality of our inheritance that is ours. We talked about this, right? For those of you who are just joining, we talked about this right before I began reading today's lesson in A Course in Miracles, which is going to be the prompt for our conversation. We talked about in order for us to even value what is ours, we have to know what is ours. And this is where the knowing show really comes into play. So much of knowing is actually a process of remembering our identity, remembering who we are, remembering whose we are, who we belong to, who we were created like, who gives us that ultimate identity, and who effectively is our Father. So who we are, whose we are, and why we are. Why are we here? And this lesson talks about, frankly, each one of those aspects. It talks about our identity, who we are, the name we were given, the identity held out for us and given us before the world was created, the identity that is more true than what the world deems. I love this concept because she talks about how our physical body, so often when we're not engaging our inner self, the full range of the human intelligence. And for all intents and purposes, on the Knowing Show, we talk about the intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and physical intelligence. So often we get trapped in our skin and our flesh. And we believe that this is who we are, that my skin and looking in the mirror, Christene Marie, that this is my identity. And therefore, we begin to value my skin and my physical body and my hair and how I look and how I feel. And am I feeling sick or well or strong or weak? And then we start to value the physical things in this world. We begin to value people and places and success and accolades. And our identity begins to be wrapped up with what we do rather than who we are. So remembering and coming back to our value in terms of who we are, our identity, and beginning to remember our identity and thus begin to value it begins with that kind of realignment, that refocusing from looking to the right and to the left, that which is horizontal, that which is even just purely physical, and going up and getting our compass effectively pointed north. Having our vertical alignment of our mind, body, soul, spirit, where everything comes into alignment. And I actually shared this on Facebook and LinkedIn yesterday. There is something so powerful when our mind is connected with our heart, where we've got our intellectual intelligence activated alongside our emotional, spiritual, where we're living in accordance and maybe even our profession is in accordance with our identity. So now our being and our doing are lined up. There is something so powerful about that. So that's kind of point number one here that we're talking about is, do we even remember our identity in order for us to then be able to place our value on it? Next is whose we are. Talking about the fact that the creator is the one that gave us the identity in the first place, our Father. Remembering, who does he say that I am? I was made in his likeness. If I am to ever question my value and my worth, if I'm ever to forget that which is most important, redirect our gaze. And so instead of looking out there for the names of people, places, things, even the name Christene Marie, well, that's not who I am. And that's not whose I am. So in terms of that one name, the name that unifies all of us, I'd like to return to just this concept of two parts of our identity. The first part is, I guess let's go to part B. Part B is the part of our identity that makes us so unique. It's our unique giftings and talents. And part A is the part that actually makes us so unified. The part of us that deems us worthy and loved, that God says that every single one of us is worthy of his affection and therefore affection amongst each other. So this calling to remember the name, the lesson says the name of God is my inheritance. So it's, okay, who who even is this Father to which I then belong? Who is this Creator to which I then have access? Every son has access to their father's wealth and their inheritance. So what are the attributes of God that I have access to? Love and joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, the ability to bring real change into this physical world. But man, if I'm cut off from my own identity, if I'm not remembering it, much more so valuing it, we prize and we walk in that which we value. We speak about that which we value. So if I'm valuing who I am and whose I am, that's going to change fundamentally my orientation from the right and to the left to that which is vertical. And then lastly, why we are. I love this line here. I want to find it. I hope I can find it with ease. All right. Let's see. This was so good. Effectively, our why. It talks about that our why, our job here is to bridge the gap between heaven and earth. It's to remind people to live and move outside of the darkness and to come closer towards the light. And so in order for us to do that, we have to first remember who we are, whose we are, and why we are, and then place a high value on it, because we will live according to that which we value. We will make decisions based off of our value system. And so when we want to look at this and say, okay, do I value what's mine? Do I first remember it? And then am I actually making decisions accordingly? Just jumping here in the chat because I need to jump off here in just a few minutes. I have an airport run. Good morning, Brian. So grateful for you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining. David Elliott, hello. Bada Bing, good morning. Thank you for joining. Kara, good morning. Stu, good morning. Warhorse, thank you for joining. Preston, hello. Dylan, Cursa, good morning. Hashtag, good morning. I'm glad you're here. Dylan, I was reading A Course in Miracles, and we've been reading a lesson every single morning for the most part since January. And so we read every morning, and then sometimes I'll go live in the afternoon as well with guests. Sammy, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so grateful for you, my friend. Zen Oxy, good morning. Soundgarden Savage, hello. Miami, thanks for joining. John Locke, LXR. Pressed, good morning. Thank you. Popsicles, good morning. Soundgarden, hello again. Anthony. Lux. Lux Key says, I have depression. Lux Key, I would love to. I would love to just kind of keep you in my thoughts and prayers. I'm so sorry, my friend. That's hard. I think we're all experiencing more depression than ever before. Gosh, it's weird. We're more connected. We have more access to hope than ever before, and I think we're more depressed than ever before. Mr. Good morning. Josh, good morning. Sammy says, please know that I am here. I really want to tell everybody that I'm a C2 complete quadriplegic and ventilator dependent due to how badly I broke my neck, and now my life is a C2 quadriplegic. I love you, my friend. I'm so with you. That's so hard, Sammy. Sammy, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for getting up every day, for doing what is right, for having faith, to whatever extent you do. I'm so proud of you, my friend. Goose Hunter, good morning. I'm so glad to see you. Future me, good morning. AAF, good morning. Jeremy. Y'all, I'm sorry. Oh, Mr. Beekso. Good morning, Kanju. Good morning, Jack. Good morning. Y'all, thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry I need to jump off. I will be back on again tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. I might be flying tomorrow morning. I'll go ahead and schedule accordingly. But y'all, thank you for joining. I'm so glad you're here. Kyle, thank you for joining. Perry, good to see you. And I'll see you at some point soon. I'm going to schedule my show accordingly, but I'm excited to see you all tomorrow, potentially this afternoon, depending on how my schedule goes. But in the meantime, have a wonderful Friday.